So yeah, let me cover the 3.1. Okay, so 3.1, we're gonna study the quadratic functions. Okay, so 3.1. Okay, so quadratic function, the general form, or you can say standard form, but depending on textbook. In this textbook, called the quadratic, this one as general form. This f of x is defined by ax squared plus bx plus c. So we haven't seen this one in chapter 1 when we study a quadratic equation, right? So instead of f of x, if you put 0, then that's going to be quadratic function, right? But actually, quadratic functions and quadratic equations are closely related to each other. So we'll see. But anyway, so there are two big objective. Okay, so the first big objective. Okay, the objective is this. Yeah, the graphing the quadratic function by hand without using calculator. Okay, so we want to figure out the not only essential the information to plot the graph of f of x by hand, but also we're gonna figure out the additional informations about the quadratic functions. That's the first big goal. Second goal is to solve quadratic inequalities. Okay, so actually section 3.1 is kind of can be divided by two subsections. Okay, so drawing graph of quadratic function, yeah, without using calculator, and then second subsection is how to solve the quadratic inequality. Okay. All right, so in the first big objective, the first one, we're gonna learn the vertex point. Okay, so what's the vertex point? So we haven't seen the one of the um, example of quadratic function, which is the square function in 2.1. So remember that y is equal to x squared. So graph of the x squared was the parabola, right? Okay, like this. And then we use this one to figure out um, the family of transformation, right? I mean, family of the x squared, but so, but basically the quadratic function, graph of quadratic function can be classified as two types. Parabola opens up and the parabola opens down. Okay, parabola opens up. Okay, parabola opens down. Okay, so then what circumstance would the graph of quadratic function is parabola opens up? Let me write down. Okay, I mean actually upward. Okay, and then this is a parabola opens downward. Okay, let me just say it down. Okay, so what circumstance the graph of f of x parabola opens up and that opens down? That one is determined by the sign of a. So here a is called the leading coefficient. Okay, so if a is greater than 0, then the graph of f of x is going to be parabola opens up, no matter what b and c are. Okay, and then if a is less than 0, then we're going to get parabola opens down. Okay, so what's the vertex point? Back to the first, sub-objectives. The vertex point is this: the what is the lowest point in the parabola in the case that parabola opens up, and the parabola opens down. In that case, the highest point gonna be vertex point. So and then we set the ordered pair of that point. Let's say h comma k. This is h comma k. Okay, so vertex point is h comma k. Okay, so h is a x coordinate, k is a y coordinate, right? So since that point in this case, parabola opens up at the vertex point, the y coordinate, since the vertex point is the lowest, point, so k must be minimum y value. Okay, in this case, a is less than 0, so the graph of f of x parabola opens down. The vertex point must be highest point. It means that k is maximum y value. Okay, this is maximum y value. Okay, so yeah, so then what kind of problems we're going to expect in this section? The first big objective. The problems they're gonna, most of problems they're gonna ask to find the vertex point and then maximum or minimum y value, and then probably opens it up and down and other things I'm gonna introduce. Okay, so at the same time, probably. Okay, so then here's a question: how can I find the h and k? By the way, and going back to the the vertex point, the h is actually negative b over 2a. I'm not going to prove it, but just memorize that formula. Okay. So what's the b and a? A is a leading coefficient and b is a coefficient x. Don't worry about this. You don't have to figure out a, b, and c. Actually, that general form, I mean the quadratic function, should be given in problems. And then the problem asks you to find the vertex point. Then you apply the formula. H is equal to negative b over 2a. Once you figure out h, and then you can figure out k. Well, how? Because k is what? Y coordinate corresponding to x coordinate h. So you simply replace evaluate the f of x. This is a given, I told you. So evaluate the function f at x equals h. Okay, then you can figure out k. So k is actually what? F of h. So I know just kind of a lot of numbers here, then don't a lot of letters and symbols right there. So you want me show the specific example. This example. Okay. So let's say f of x is defined by negative x squared and then plus 3x plus 5. Okay. So you can see that, leading coefficient of f of this example is a negative 1, which is less than 0. Then you see that, oh, the graph of f of x must be parabola opens down like this. Okay. Then so that vertex point in this function must be highest point. Let's say h comma k. Okay, let's find the h comma k. So h is what? Negative b over 2a. So here b is a 3 and the a is a negative 1. So we got negative 2, which is 3 half. And the k gonna be f of 3 half. Okay, so this is gonna be negative 3 half square plus 3 times 3 over 2 and then plus 5. Okay, so let me use a calculator. So now see, so negative 3 over 2 square, right, and then plus 3 times 3 over 2 and then plus 5. Okay, so we got 7.25. Okay, so this is 7.25. Okay, so now once you got a vertex point, then right here, so all right, so now you got the vertex point, then we can rewrite the general form to the vertex form. Quadratic function. Okay, so vertex form is this: f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so can you let's just compare the general form and then vertex form right there. Okay, so from the vertex point, right, see the vertex point is involved, right, in the formula of the vertex point, right? So to figure out the vertex form of the general form given in the problems, you need to find the h and k, which is vertex point. And the a is a leading coefficient, the same as that a leading coefficient in general form. Okay, so back to this example, then well, we got the, once we got the vertex point, then the vertex point, okay, of f of x is going to be what? F of x is equal to, okay, so a is a negative, right? And the x minus h is 3 over 2, right? 3 over 2 square, and then plus 7.25. Okay, so now third one is the maximum and minimum value. Maximum or minimum? Oh, minimum value, y value. Okay, so keep in mind this, the quadratic function doesn't have both maximum and minimum y value, okay? So in this case, parabola opens up, we know that k is a minimum y value, right? Then is that, what, does it have what, maximum y value? No, because as x is increased, the graph goes up to infinity, right? So there is no maximum. Even x, as x approaches negative infinity, getting just smaller and smaller, then y value is just, graph goes up, it means it goes to infinity, right? So there is no maximum. So if the graph of f of x is parabola opens up, then there is no maximum y value. No, okay, there is only minimum y value. But this is the opposite. Parabola opens down, there is a maximum y value, which is k, y coordinate vertex point, but there is no minimum y value. No minimum y value. Keep on this. So the, if a is greater than 0, okay, then k is the what? This is a is greater than 0. It means the parabola opens what? Opens up. So k must be minimum, right? And if a is less than 0, then k must be what? Maximum. Okay, k minus. And then the next one is axis of symmetry. Okay, what's axis of symmetry? So since parabola is actually what? Every single parabola is symmetric about the vertical line passing through the vertex. So you see that? So if you just divide the parabola by the vertical line passing through the vertex, the what? The parabola is symmetric about that vertical line, right? This vertical line is called the axis of symmetry. Yeah, now you can catch that why the name of that vertical line is axis of symmetry, right? Symmetry means what? The what, when you just the what, when you just cut the graph in half and half, and then the fold the one side to the other side, those two graphs exactly match, right? So the that vertical line, the equation of that vertical line is this: x is equal to k. Oh, sorry, x is equal to h. Sorry. Okay, so how come? Because in this example, so we see not only but this example, but the every single the vertical line, the passing through the vertex point of parabola, since the vertical line passed through the vertical line, it means that every single point on the vertical line, their x coordinate h. Okay, so that's why the equation of that vertical line is that x equals h. Keep in mind this. So now next one. I mean, so okay, so back to this example. Let's find out the what, axis of symmetry. Okay, so we got what, this is 3.2, and then this is 7.25 in this example, right? Then what's the axis of symmetry? X is equal to what? 3 over 2. Okay, see, that's axis of symmetry. The next one, what, opens, parabola opens up down. Yeah, we did that, right? So you see that parabola? Yeah, let me mention it once again. Okay, so parabola up or down. Okay, so if a is greater than 0, then parabola opens up. Okay, if a is less than 0, parabola opens down. Okay, mind this. Okay, so now next one, 6. Okay, next one is, yeah, increasing, decreasing. We want to figure out the number where f the quadratic function. It's increasing, decreasing. Okay. So in this case, parabola opens up. See, a is greater than 0, right? Here is a vertex point right there, h comma k. Okay. Then well, let's say this is x-axis right there. Okay, this is case 1. I'm talking about we want to figure out the interval where the quadratic function is increasing or decreasing. Okay, let's keep in mind this. So then you see here is the h right there, right? So as you can see that from negative infinity to the h, from negative infinity to the h. Okay, let me include this h right there. So what? The graph is just going down, right? Okay. So what that means as x is increasing from negative infinity to h, graph just goes down. It means that what? It's going down. It means that y value is decreasing, right? So we can say f of x is decreasing, okay, on what? Negative infinity to h, okay, including the end number, okay. What about the other side? As x is increasing from h to infinity, okay, right here. That was from negative infinity. The other one is a negative h to h, right? So as x approach, x is increased from the h to infinity. The graph goes up, right? It's going up. Let's see. Okay, it means the y value is increasing. So we can say f of x is increasing on h to infinity. Okay. So now, what about the other side? I mean, the other case, graph is parabola opens down. So a is less than 0, right? And then for text point, h comma k right there. Okay, let's say this is x-axis. So here is h. Okay. Then what? Negative infinity to h, graph is going up. It means the y value increasing, and the interval graph is going down. It means the y value is decreasing, right? Okay, so we can say f of x is what, increasing, and totally opposite to that case 1. This is case 2. Increasing on negative infinity to h, and the f of x is decreasing on h to infinity. Okay, so the next one, let's see. Before the last one is the want to find out x-intercept, y-intercept. Okay. So, but for doing that, let's see example for let's figure out the increasing, decreasing intervals of that function. For example, this quadratic function where f of x is increasing, decreasing. Okay. So in this case, you can see that when maybe k is 7.25, so maybe x is right there. Okay. So then f of x is increasing from negative infinity to h, and then decreasing from h to infinity. You can see that, right? See that increasing from negative infinity to h, and then decreasing from h to infinity. So f of x is you can say is 3/2 right here. So f of x is increasing on what, negative infinity to 3/2, and f of x is decreasing on what's closing number, right? 3/2 to infinity. Okay. Now what are you gonna do? The last one is the x-intercept, y-intercept. X-intercept. Okay, and then y-intercept. So probably the parabola don't have x-intercept, or just one x-intercept, or just two x-intercept. So the quadratic function has up to, I mean, at most 2 x-intercept. Okay. So then what about y-intercept? Yeah, every single quadratic function has only one y-intercept. Okay. Then let's figure out y-intercept. Do you remember that? What is this y-intercept? the y-intercept is an intersection point between the y-axis and the graph. So the ordered pair of y-intercept must be 0, something y-coordinate. But we know that the y-coordinate, the y-intercept of the quadratic function, that must be c. Okay, what is c? Back to the general form right there. So f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c right there, right? So c right here, c, constant term, that's the here. Why? Because without loss of generality, let's think about the this kind of quadratic function, okay? So here's say y-axis right here, okay? So we see that this is y-intercept, right? Okay, y-intercept. Then see the point, since the point lies on the y-axis, is what x-coordinate must be 0. So it's 0 comma something, right? I don't know. Okay, let's figure out that y-coordinate. Then let's say the graph of, equation of that graph is say f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. Then to figure out the the y-coordinate corresponding to x-coordinate 0, what are you gonna do? We plug in 0 into x, right? So plug in 0 into x, we got this. F of 0 is what? 0 plus 0 plus c, which is c, right? So no matter what we get a and c, the y-intercept, the ordered pair of y-intercept must be 0, c always. Keep in mind this. But x-intercept, a different story. So to figure out the x-intercept, yeah, back to this example. What is x-intercept? Right here, right here. Right? Okay. So see that those two x-intercept lies on the x-axis. It means that y-coordinate is 0. So x-intercept has the form what certain x coordinate and then the corresponding y-coordinate is 0. It means that what f of x must be 0, right? So the give me a second. Just focus off. Okay. So now then what it means that we have to solve to find out the such the x coordinate. We have to solve what ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay. So this is the quadratic equation, right? So now we figured out the relationship between the quadratic function and quadratic equations. Actually, solution of quadratic equations must be what? X coordinates of x-intercept of quadratic functions. Okay. You see, let me tell you again. The solution of quadratic equations must be x coordinates of x-intercept of quadratic function. Okay. Associated quadratic function. Okay. So now let's see. I think yeah, that's all we're gonna do. Okay, 1 through 7. Okay, so vertex starting from vertex point. Okay, and then vertex form, maximum, minimum, axis of symmetry, parallel opens up and down, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. Okay, and the x-intercept and y-intercept. So using these informations, we can plot the graph of quadratic function by hand without using graphing calculator roughly. Okay. So, but one thing you should keep in mind is, as you can see that the vertex point hk, right? And then vertex form in the formula, h and k are involved. Maximum, minimum also, see that k is maximum, k is minimum, maximum, and the axis symmetry x equals h. The increasing, decreasing. Increasing, decreasing is h is involved, right? So it means this: if you got wrong a vertex point, you're gonna get wrong answers for other things. So you have to make sure that you get right vertex point. Okay. So if problem asks you to find out on the vertex point, the vertex form, axis symmetry, and then number where increasing, decreasing, maximum, minimum value, and then you get wrong the vertex point, you're gonna get wrong in other sub questions. Okay, just keep in mind this. So now let's see example. Okay, so okay, so let's say f of x is let me see. So negative, I think we do negative 2. Let's say 2, okay? Just 2x squared plus x. This is 4x plus 1, okay? So I'm gonna find out the 7 in our informations and then plot the graph, okay? Now then, the first one, vertex point, it's h comma k, right? Okay. So h is what? Negative b over 2a, right? So here's a b is 4, and then a is 2, so we got negative 4 over 4, so which is negative 1, right? Okay. Then k is what? F of negative 1, which is 2 times negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 and then plus 1. Okay. So which is what? 2 minus 4 plus 1, right? So negative 1, right? Okay. Now, so we figured it out for vertex point, which is a negative 1 comma negative 1. Okay. So now then, vertex form. We can figure vertex form, which is f of x is equal to 2 times x minus, you see that vertex form is what? A times x minus h squared plus k, right? So h is negative 1, k is negative 1. So we got x plus 1, right? Square, and then minus 1. This is vertex point. Okay, this is a vertex point. This is a vertex point. Okay. So next one is maximum minimum. Okay, third one, maximum. So yeah, we see that here, since the what a is a 2, which is positive, so the graph of f of x must be parabola opens up. So k must be what? Minimum. Okay, which is the what? F of x has the minimum y value k what k, which is negative 1, right? Negative 1. Okay, so now for axis of symmetry, x is equal to negative 1, right? See that x is equal to negative 1, x equals h is negative 1 in this example. Okay, so by the way, so okay, so I know, so I'm gonna figure out the other informations, but let's figure out the roughly graph of f of x using the information what we got so far. Okay, so vertex point was negative 1 comma 1, right? So negative 1, negative 1. It's negative 1, negative 1. Okay, and then the, by the way, the what, since a is what? A is 2, which is greater than 0, so it means that graph must be parabola opens up, right? Okay, so it must be, and then see. Okay, it must be like this. Okay, and then we know that well, we can figure out the y-intercept by looking at the what, the constant term in a general form, which is 1, right? So 0 comma 1 must be y-intercept. See 0 comma 1, that's the y-intercept. Okay, and this is the vertex point. Okay, vertex point right here. Okay, and then as you can see that this graph has 2 x-intercepts, right? So yeah, I'm gonna figure out the x-intercept too later. Okay, the next one is we're gonna figure out the inverse where function is increasing, decreasing. And then what? From here to see. By the way, axis of symmetry is this. Here's the axis of symmetry. Vertical line passing through the vertex point. Axis of symmetry. Okay, x is equal to negative 1. Okay, and then the what, negative infinity to the negative one. Negative infinity to the negative one is what? This is a number where f of x is what? Decreasing, because this is parabola opens up, right? Okay. And then negative 1 through the infinity, the graph is going up, so that f of x is increasing, right? Okay. Okay. So we can say f of x is decreasing. Oops. On negative infinity to h, which is negative 1. Okay. And then f of x is increasing on negative 1 to infinity. Okay. Now, finally, x-intercept. Let's find the x-intercept. Okay. So then we have to solve the quadratic equation. Okay. So we solve what? F of x equals 0. So f of x is what? Example 2x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, we in I think 2.5, right? In 1.5, we learned that what? How to solve quadratic equations by factoring or square property, complete square. Yeah, you may use a complete square, but let me use it just simply as quadratic formula. Remember that x is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so please keep in mind this. This is a really basic formula you have to memorize. So then what, b is 4, so negative 4 plus minus square root b squared is 16, right? And then negative 4 times 2 times 1, which is negative 8, divided by 4. Right? So this is equal to then what, negative 4 over 4 plus, I just split this fraction to just split up that fraction to two fractions. Negative 4 over 4 plus minus square root of 8 over 4, right? Okay. So that's good. Yeah, you may just plug in this one into calculator, but let me just simplify, okay? Then negative 4 over 4 is negative 1. The plus minus square root of 8 is what? 2 times square root of 2. Okay. So we got square root of 2 over 2. Okay. So then this is going to be what? Negative 1 minus square root of 2 over 2, right? And then this one is what? Negative 1 plus square root of 2 over 2. Okay. So I think we got the graph, which is pretty with accurate just the points, x-intercept and the y-intercept for the x point, right? Okay. So now let's see here. Okay. And then one thing that I want to talk about this. What circumstance? How can you know? How can we know that the graph, I mean, quadratic equation function has two x-intercept, one x and no x-intercept? So we can think about the multiple cases depending on the sign of A and then sign of K. What I mean is this. So A is greater than 0, A is less than 0. Okay. Here, let's say this is x-axis. A is greater than 0 means that what? The parabola must be what? Opens up, right? But we can classify the parabola opens up, that parabola, into three cases. One is just above the x-axis, or just touch the x-axis, and then just cross x-axis. Okay. In the one circumstance, we're gonna get this. See that vertex point is the lowest point, right? In this case, the k is greater than 0, right? Oops. K is greater than 0. Okay. In this case, parabola touch x-axis, it means that k equals 0. Cross, it means that k is what? Less than 0. Okay. Similarly, we can classify the parabola opens down in three cases: just below the x-axis, or just touch x-axis and then cross the x-axis. Okay. In this case, what k is what, less than 0, the k is 0, and then k is greater than 0. Okay. So now you see the pattern right there. If k is 0, then parabola gonna have only one x-intercept. One x-intercept. Okay. Okay. And then k is greater than 0, and the a is greater than 0, and the k is less than 0, a is greater less than 0. See that? The sign of a is the same as sign of k. It's the sign of a is the same as sign of k, right? Then what? The parabola has no x-intercept. Okay. And then sign of a is opposite to sign of k. You see that? Positive, negative, or negative, positive. And then the parabola gonna have two x-intercepts. You don't have to memorize it, but just try. Please, try to understand. Okay. Okay. To x-intercept. So the here now if we x here, see here. Okay. So let me give you one more example. Okay, and then the example, and then I'm gonna cover the quadratic inequality. Okay, and okay next time. All right. So give me a second. Let's see the problem example in the textbook. All right, so this is example 5. Okay, so y is equal to 2 um, the 2x is, let me use other one. Okay, sorry. So example 2. Okay, in textbook, so f of x is defined by negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. Okay, so now then what? The first one, vertex point, it's going to be h is negative b over 2a, right? Okay, so this is equal to negative 4 over negative 4, which is 1, right? And then k is the f of 1, so it's going to be negative 2 minus 4 plus 1, so which is negative 5, right? Okay, so the vertex point then, vertex form, f of x is equal to negative 2 times x minus h, so f x minus 1 squared minus 5. Okay, and then third one, the what? The maximum or minimum y value. You see, a is a negative 2, so the graph of f of x must be parabola opens down, right? Okay, so this guy has only a maximum y value, which is k, right? So k is a negative 5, right? So f of x has the maximum y value, negative 5. Okay, and then the axis of symmetry is what? X is equal to h, which is 1, right? Okay, and then parabola opens up and down. This is a parabola opens down, right? Because since a is less than 0, so this parabola opens down. Okay, and then increasing, decreasing, since the graph of f of x is must be like this, right? So from here to here is what? The graph is increasing. And from here to here is graph is decreasing. F of x, I mean, f of x is decreasing, right? So we can say f of x is increasing on negative infinity to h, right? H is 1. And then f of x is decreasing on what? Closing number 1 to infinity. Okay. And then what? X intercept, y intercept is what? First, y intercept is what? 0, comma c. C is 1, right? So y intercept is a 0, comma 1. And then x-intercept, to find the x-intercept, well, we solve the quadratic equation, right? By the way, how many x-intercept this function has? See, leading coefficient, what? See, leading coefficient a is less than 0, right? And then what's a k? K is -5, which is less than 0. So sine of a is uh, same as the sine of k, right? See that? If sine of a is less than 0, and then k, sine of k is less than 0, and then what? That parabola does not have x-intercept. So here, I'm not gonna try to find the x-intercept because we know that what this function doesn't have x-intercept. Okay, so let me skip find the x-intercept. So now then, let's see. Let me plot the graph. Okay, so here's x-axis, here's y-axis. Okay, 1, vertex. Let me just figure out vertex vertex point. Okay, so which is 1, -5, right? Okay, so here's a 1, here's a -5. Okay, and then graph is a parabola opens down, right? So it must be like this. Let's see. It should be -1, right? Sorry, it should be -1. -1 minus f. Yeah, sorry, it should be -1, right? Negative, yeah. So axis symmetry must be -1, and then so it should be -1 right here. Okay, I made a mistake. This is -1, so it's -2. It is a +1, +4. So this is 3. Okay, this should be 3. So this should be 3. Okay, and then now since then a is less than 0, and then k is greater than 0, then it should have 2 x-intercept. Let's find the x-intercept. Okay, yeah, that's my mistake. Okay, but anyway, let's figure out the graph. Okay, and then I'll find the x-intercept. Okay, so see, negative, not 5, actually 3. Here's a 1, 2, 3 right there. Okay, so graph must be like this. Okay, so y-intercept is what? 0, 1. 0, 1. This is y-intercept. Okay, so we have the 2 x-intercept right there, right? By the way, axis symmetry is what? Vertical line. X is equal to 1, right? -1. Let me see. Yeah, let me plot again. Here's x-axis, y-axis. X is a negative, h is a -1. Then k is a 3, right there. Okay, so y-intercept, so 0, 1. Okay, here's a 1 on the right there. And then we want to find the 2 x-intercept right there. So we solve to find the x-intercept. We solve this -2x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use a quadratic formula. So x is equal to 2 plus my square root b squared minus 4ac. So plus 8, okay, over -2, right? -4. Okay. So that's going to be let's see, 2 over -4, okay, plus minus, and then so 2, I think this is square root 32, right? Square root 32 is equal to 4 times square root 2, right? Okay, so we got square root 2. Oh, 2. By the way, what about negative sign? So plus over minus is a minus, right? Minus or minus is plus. So eventually we're going to get plus my sign. Okay. So that is equal to what? Actually, 2 is negative half, right? Negative 1/2 plus square root 2, and the negative 1/2 minus square root 2. Okay. So all right. So the one this one is what? Negative 1/2 minus square root 2. The other one is negative 1/2 plus square root 2. Okay. So let me see. Yeah. So in this example, yeah, I made a mistake. Okay. So h is not was not 1, but h should be -1. Okay. So the k is 3. Okay. So the maximum y value is 3, and then x is -1. That's the axisymmetry. As you can see that here, x is -1, axisymmetry. The f of x is increasing from -infinity to -1, decreasing from -1 to infinity. Okay. And the x-intercept is what? -1/2, comma negative square root 2, comma 0, and the -1/2 plus square root 2, comma 0. That's the x-intercept. Okay. So let me stop here. Let me take rule, and then next class I'll cover the quadratic inequality, second big objective, 3.1. Okay. So and then let's see. Let's see. So keep in mind this, okay? So what the exam 3 is scheduled 11:30, 9 a.m. to 12 December 6, 11. Okay, the final exam is scheduled the November 30th and then through the December 8th, 5 p.m. I told you, do not, work final exam just 2 or 3 hours before the due date. Okay, keep in mind this, because after 5 p.m. for any reason, yeah, I cannot extend due date. Okay, because I have to submit the grade next day. Okay, keep in mind this. So please mark the exam 3 and final exam early than the due date. Keep in mind this. All right, so let's see. Let's see.